Hi, this is Mike,
And I'm Fran.
and this is the Mike and Fran Show, episode 17. Hey, how are you guys doing? I hope you all voted. Oh boy, what a fiasco that was, huh? I mean, what an interesting process the 2020 election was, is what I meant to say. And I did want to say that on the last show, I said make sure you go out and vote. And I forgot that our show was going to be broadcast on Wednesdays at noon, and you would have already voted on Tuesday. So sorry about that. I didn't want to get you in an uproar or anything, but I assume that you already voted. And by now, I think you all know the results, and we're going to kind of touch on that a little bit. But first of all, thanks so much for tuning in to the Mike and Fran Show. Mike and Fran Unrehearsed on 216 The Net, live radio, live real people radio on 216 The Net. That's right. And Wednesdays at noon. Of course, you already know that. So, I hope you guys had a chance to check out our new website, www.mikeandfranradio.com, because you're going to be able to do a couple things on there. You're going to be able to look at all of our old shows with descriptions, so you can go back and look at some of our old shows and replay them and add comments so that we could have sort of a running conversation on our shows. I think that would be awesome. And then please remember to subscribe to our mailing list, and then you'll get a list of specials with our vendors that are offering discounts on their services, such as plumbing, real estate, personal finance, and other things. And then also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because when we get the numbers up there, we'll be able to offer you guys some more prizes and gifts and special treats just for listening to the Mike and Fran Unrehearsed Show. Good enough? All right. Thanks so much. So Mom and I did something new and different. We worked on some videos, right, Mom?
Yes.
And it was a lot of fun. Mom was really a little bit reluctant, but after we got going, she had a ball. And she's really a star, really. She really is.
Well, especially when it had to be translated into Chinese.
Well, we did one
it's a
video.
Chinese program.
And we translated it into Chinese with Chinese subtitles. You guys will see our version of it on www.mikeandfranradio.com. So please check out our website for the new videos that we did. And we also added a video for each day of the election process as it progressed. So that might be a little interesting to you guys. We're kind of putting a show together for for the Chinese, actually, so that they can listen to our shows, but they can't get YouTube or Facebook, but they do get something called Red, and we're able to post it on there. A friend of mine helped me set it up. I don't speak too much Chinese. Do you, Mom?
Not a bit.
Okay. So anyway, we posted a couple of things on there because I know that they like to learn about American culture, Chinese, I mean, and basically Asia in general, and they also want to be able to speak like an American. And so we give them a little bit of a English language sort of conversational, tip on how to speak American English. As it's associated to what we're talking about. So hopefully we're going to get some questions, and we'll keep you guys abreast on what's going on there. We might launch something similar in India, because the way I look at it, there's billions of people in China, and there's billions of people in India, and I want all of them to listen to our show. We call it the Mike and Fran Show out there, and basically it's the same thing as Mike and Fran Unrehearsed, but it's a little different. So anyway, hope you guys can check that out at www.mikeandfranradio.com. And please subscribe to our mailing list and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That would be awesome. So, Mom, over the last few days here, I gathered together the headlines starting on Tuesday, Election Day. All right, so just to revisit election 2020, here were the headlines starting on Tuesday, November 3rd, Election Day. Election Day 2020 is here at last. The campaigns conclude. Whew. Okay. Wednesday, November 4th, waiting to exhale. Final result of presidential race could be days away. Thursday, November 5th, where race stands, what's next? We don't know. Kind of a dead heat. Friday, November 6th, a nation on edge. Yes, we were. Saturday, November 7th, Biden says, we're going to win. Latest tallies remaining in key states favor Democrat Biden over Trump. And Sunday, November 8th, was the day that Biden declared victory over Trump and asked for unity. The race is finally called, but Trump promises a court battle. So the title of the Daily Herald on Sunday, November 8th was A Time to Heal. So I think that's where we're at right now. And I guess Monday's came out here that I have, and it just talks about a challenging transition maybe on the horizon. Yeah, well said. Well, we'll see. Time will tell. But anyway, I hope it's a great start to a new America where we're maybe a little bit more level-headed and willing to work with each other as far as Democrats and Republicans are concerned. That's my hope. So let's hope and pray. And please check out our videos because we had a little bit of fun with the headlines on there, okay? MikeandFranRadio.com. Thank you. Hey guys, we could use some more questions. So please send your questions to MikeandFranRadio@gmail.com. That's MikeandFranRadio@gmail.com. We're saving some of the holiday questions for the next coming weeks, but we could always use more questions. So please, please, please send us your name, where you live, and a question, and we'll answer it on the air and say your name and where you're from. How about that? That'd be a lot of fun. So send that to MikeandFranRadio@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, Mom. So, what did you think of the election process?
I just want to say I hope it irons itself out soon, with Trump still demanding and doing a recount. I'm glad to live in a country that has a democratic voting system. That's
right, Mom. That's right. So let's hope and pray for a new beginning and a greater America. Right. So what happened this last week? On Sunday, something very sad happened. We lost Alice Trebek at 80 years old, who's had, I guess he had, what did he have?
pancreatic
He had
cancer.
pancreatic cancer, and I remember he announced it, what was it, a year ago?
Year and a half
And
ago.
he fought as hard as he could, and that's a really bad one to get. But he was just a wonderful guy. You remember him, Mom?
Well, he was a very distinguished, decent Canadian, working in America for many years. He's right along up there with Regis Philbin as being a person that we like very much.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had 2 children, and I started watching the Jeopardy show years and years and years ago, and then at times I couldn't get it. It would come on in the middle of the afternoon here at a bad time when you were working and things. But he was a very much admired person. And the pancreatic cancer rather, is stage number 4 is like a bad thing to have. My brother-in-law, Uncle Carmen to Michael here, had the Whipple, which was a type of operation for it. And he went to Philadelphia to get it, and then came back to his home on the Jersey Shore. And since his wife was working and I had retired from school, I went back and took care of him for about 6 weeks and learned how to put the tube in and clean up, put the bandages and feed him and all the things.
Oh, yeah.
So I became a little nursey for a while. I did not have to use a needle because I don't know, I'd really have to practice on something to learn how to give somebody a needle. But I took care of him for all of that while. He regained strength, got back well enough to come to the wedding of my youngest son, Vincent, in Mystic Harbor, Connecticut, looking pale as the light suit he had on, but still dancing, still trying to be happy, and then lived a few months later. So it is a hard disease to get.
Yeah, it says here that when he announced it on March 6, 2019, he announced that he was joined by 50,000 other Americans who receive a diagnosis of
Pancreatic
cancer each year, and that he recognized that the prognosis was not encouraging. And it does say that he had intended to fight it and keep working, even joking that he needed to beat the disease because his Jeopardy contract ran for 3 more years.
Yep.
And then less than a week later, he opened the show with a message acknowledging the outpouring and all the kind words and prayers that he received. Basically, he said, thanks to the, believe it or not, hundreds of thousands of people who sent in tweets and emails and cards wishing him the best of luck with his prognosis. But we'll all miss him very, very much, very much. What a one of a kind type of person.
Indeed.
Yeah, that's for sure. R.I.P. Right?
Yes.
Rest in peace, Mr. Alex Trebek.
Did you have nicknames in your family when you grew up? All right.
All right, Mom, so here's our first official question of today. Did your family ever have nicknames?
Well, we did. They weren't extravagant nicknames. The extravagant ones is when I was a bean boss during the war.
A bean boss?
Yeah, during the war.
What's a bean boss?
I had to manage and come around to mark down what everybody had picked each day for beans for their salary, for what they got paid for, checking the weight, putting their names down, and they were bussed in from the city on trucks or drove out. We even had the poet laureate of Australia coming out to pick because the men were all away in the service.
Really?
But I had to write down the names of the people. And I ran across a family that the father was named Snake Eyes, the mother Booley, one of the kids Header, one Skunky, and one Punker. And I the whole family, that's all the names you were given.
Were these like California surfers?
No. They were just
people?
Ordinary people that I don't know whether they were immigrant pickers or
Were they Hispanic? Were they Caucasian?
No, just regular Caucasian.
Wow.
But in my family, we sort of had an array. Was the eldest of 6. We sort of called my dad Big Dean Mountain Man, even though he wasn't growing up in the mountains.
Big Dean
And
Mountain
my
Man.
mother we called Pearlie, Pearl of the Wallow Mountains, where she grew up in eastern Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
Pearlie. I was Tootie. My uncles always called me Little Tootie or Little Garb, because Greta Garbo came into the movie field then, beautiful, distinguished-looking actress, and was bothered by the media a lot, and she always said, I want to be alone. And that was my little thing. I want to be alone. I want to be alone. So I was called Little Garb.
But she said that. And did you say that because she said that, or you just said it
I
because
just said
you wanted
that.
to say
They
it?
called me
okay.
her because she said the same
Oh,
thing.
that's cute.
I came up with that on my own.
Yeah, that's pretty cute.
And Donna, my sister, was called Donnie. Alan, my brother, was called Oop, after Alley-Oop.
Alley-Oop.
Alley-Oop was a cartoon character, a caveman, and he was called Oop.
So that was a cartoon that ran.
Yeah, Alley-Oop. And he was called Oop. Nancy was called Nanny, and I cannot remember for sure if that was her name. Lee was called Liebert, and Rebecca, my very youngest, was just called Becky. I don't know any other name, as she was born when I was in college. And then when I got out of college, I lived in the city and worked, and then I went to Chicago. So I was never around Rebecca that much to know if she had a nickname or not.
Wow.
I do remember going to school with a person I mentioned to Michael called Rusty Gates, and he thought that was so funny, Rusty Gates. Well, Rusty was the nickname for Wesley Gates. So you run across a lot of other people in their lives who had nicknames from their regular names that were just shortened.
So I could have been Michael Gates. Wait a minute.
No, not really.
Why not Bill Gates?
That would be a whole different story.
That was not related, right? Okay.
That would be a whole
right.
different story.
Okay.
Okay? Well, Michael, I was talking about my family growing up. What about our family?
Well, I don't know if we had that many nicknames. I mean, they're pretty standard, but I do remember calling Dad, so that's not really that unusual.
That was just a short
Dad or Pop.
No.
Or Pop.
Yeah.
Dad or Pop. You called him Jim most of the time. The folks at work, where he worked at Channel 2 News.
Jim or Jimmy?
No, it was Jimmy. Everybody called him Jimmy. And his mother called him Jimmy. Mm-hmm. But we didn't call him Jimmy.
But that's not a nickname. This is just a short name.
It's sort of. That's what we got. That's what we got, Mom. These are nicknames. Hey, Jimmy, James is his name. So these are nicknames. All right, so Mom, we would just call you Mom, I guess. Mom. I think other people would call you, like your mother would call you Francis, and your teacher friends would call you Fran. Dad, I remember, would call you Franny sometimes. He'd call you Franny. And then Linda, my older sister, would be Linda Lou, because her middle name was Linda Louise, but we never really said that. Linda Lou is what I remember, right? Sometimes I'll still call her that. Loretta was, I think we all mostly called her Lori, and it was like Lori, Lori. And you said you called her Lore. Right? Loretta. Michael, that would be me. I'm only called Michael. Well, you call me Michael sometimes.
Well, and Uncle the
most
Carmen.
of the time. I don't know.
Michael Luch.
I kind of went back to Michael because it was Mike, and and your name's Michael. And I think recently now I go by Michael if it's probably maybe a woman that I meet. I prefer to be called Michael. Maybe a guy, it's Mike. I don't know. That's just a personal preference, I guess. But Uncle Carmen would call me Michael Luch, right? Like a cute little Italian name. And I think he had one for Vince, too. Vincenzo, right? And in college, because my name was La Tone, and a lot of people go L-A capital T-O-N-E like it's a French name, because it actually used to be Latona. When my grandparents came over on the boat, the A changed to an E, and it turned into Latone, which sounds like more of a French name.
Word.
So people would say L-A capital T-O-N-E. So my college buddies would just call me La. They would just say La. Hey La, what's up, La? Where are we going? What's going on? And that's kind of the only nicknames that I've ever had that I can talk about here on radio. Anyway.
Okay.
No, we're missing some kids. So now we have Lisa. And I called her Lee. Hey, Lee, what are we doing, Lee? But it would be like L-I, Lee, not L-E-E, like your brother. And then you would call her, or Linda would call her Leetlebug.
My mother, when she was Leetlebug.
Leetlebug, because she was kind of a tiny little Italian girl, like 4'11" and a half or something. I don't know. Anyway, Leetlebug. And then Vincent, my brother, would be Vince. I call him Vince. I don't think I'd ever call him Vincent.
I always called him Vincent.
Okay, you call him Vincent.
Yeah.
And then his buddies would call him Vinny, but only his buddies would call him that. And then, like I said, Uncle Carmen would call him
sometimes he was called Binge.
No.
Some people did.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No
but
way.
That's a mixture of...
It's stretching the nickname. Okay,
yeah, those aren't true nicknames, a lot of them.
So take all that I said about nicknames for our family and scratch it, because those are not true nicknames, according to Fran. So, sorry about that, folks.
Yeah.
So I hope all of you are enjoying this 75-degree weather in November. I don't think this has ever happened before. I mean, every day it's a record. 74, 75, 73, and it might be coming to an end, I think, early this week here. Like,
Tomorrow.
back to the 50s and 60s or something like that. But I hope you guys are out there enjoying it. I've been riding my bike and walking around the lake, and I'm telling you, I run into people that are going out for a walk 2 and 3 times a day because they are just so amazed with this weather we're having in November. We're just not used to this in Chicago. But it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So I hope you guys are all doing that. And holidays are coming up. So a few weeks we're going to have Thanksgiving. And Mom and I were talking about, how many people we're going to have over here. I mean, usually in a normal year, we'd have like 15, 16 people, right?
Well, when Vince was around, more like 12 ordinarily.
Yeah, but
Or we could get up to 15, 16.
absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, it's about 15, 16 normally. And sometimes we would
put 2 tables.
We would put 2 tables together. Mm-hmm. We would do a huge 25-pound turkey. We would do like some lasagna or something else on the side. I don't know. We'd do a couple different things, and we'd have enough food so people can go home with leftovers. And that was our big thing, right? We wanted to do that. But this year, because of COVID-19, a lot of people are staying home or going with, close relatives downtown.
And because of me,
yeah,
I am in the 90s in the endangered area.
Yeah, mom's
so to speak.
Mom's in that range of age where she's very susceptible to, not having a good time with COVID-19, and that could be bad. So I think because of that, people are saying, well, maybe we'll skip going to Grandma's house this year. Mm-hmm. So it might be just you and me, Mom.
Might.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, we'll do it up, and we'll take some video and some photos and things, and we'll let everybody see the kind of spread we have over here, and we'll have a lot of fun.
Yes.
So that'll be in a few weeks. And then I already see Christmas decorations out there, which I can't believe. I'm leaving my Halloween costume. I'm leaving my Halloween decorations up through Thanksgiving. I kind of do that. I might get rid of the pumpkin, but what do you think? Should I do that?
Well, I'd get rid of the spider and the straw.
Okay.
But we'll leave we have the turkeys and the things that are out more for Thanksgiving.
Right. We can leave those
Cornucopia.
out. And we leave those out. And what about the haystacks out there?
Well, you could for fall.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, I'll massage it a little bit and take a couple things down and we'll be good to go. But hey, here's a question for you, Mom. What is your favorite holiday?
Well, I believe there isn't any holiday I don't like, but the favorite one would mean I like Thanksgiving and Christmas because they are like caring and the church, but I like Easter because it's so much fun with the young kids.
No, what do you mean by that?
Hiding the Easter eggs and having them look after it through the year from all the ages down. My eldest granddaughter now is 35, and I can remember when she was little and going around. And then down to my youngest granddaughter, Alyssa, she would they'd rehide the eggs again about 6 times.
Oh, yeah.
And she would spend all day going downstairs, up the stairs, upstairs, hunting those eggs until at the end of the day they were so mushy we had to put them in the fridge right away.
Well,
she spent all day, and the boys loved hunting, and they would hide them again for her. And outside only a couple of times because usually the weather was too chilly.
Yeah.
But those Easter baskets with the kids doing the hunt was always fun, and especially seeing how excited the little kids were.
Yeah, that is fun.
So I do like Easter.
Don't you remember finding like one egg that we never found for like 10 years or something like that?
Oh, yes, 2.
It's
one of them,
black.
One of them in our other house
like
in
Elk Grove, in
like grandmother's slipper. She hid it in a downstairs closet that had an area that went off under the stairs.
Oh.
And we found that egg in there, like just solid, solid like a rock.
Yeah.
That was the one.
Like 10 years it's been in there.
Yeah, we found Grandma's egg.
Surprise, I found the missing egg. Yeah.
But I cannot remember now the other one. There was 2.
Eat it.
There was 2. I remember Grandma's. Do you remember the other one? I don't right now.
I don't know. I think it was behind the couch or something like that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know how it is. You have you have 5 adult eyes that know where they hid them, and so when the kids can't find them, you could usually find it because they're the ones that you're usually hiding.
And we hide like 36. That we
Yeah.
had quite a few number.
Yeah, it's fun with the
Yeah,
kids. It's
yeah.
fun. And I did enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I think I probably would prefer Christmas over all the holidays if I had to pick one. Probably because
New Jersey.
I remember going out to the East Coast and visiting my dad's family and going to each house and having all their specialty food. I mean, first of all, it's like driving into winter wonderland. We went to Berkeley Heights, New Jersey, and what's funny is at the time there was a Double Mint chewing gum commercial, I think it was, and they mentioned Berkeley Heights on that commercial. And it's like we've been there. We know where Berkeley Heights is, of all places. It was kind of amazing. And so it would be like this winter wonderland. We'd be driving through these hills with this soft snow and just coming down in clumps. And we'd meet my Uncle Carmen, and he'd be very happy to see us. And we did that. Sometimes we did Christmas, and then we did summer too, I think, for vacation out there. And he'd be putting up the wreaths. He used to work at a place that he made the wreaths and things for people, and he would hang them up, and there'd be people coming in. It was just a great holiday spirit just to hang out with Uncle Carmen for the holidays.
And
Yeah.
she did the 7 fish
Well, my Aunt Lucille would cook the Christmas Eve
for 7 fish.
Sicilian 7 fishes dinner.
Yeah.
And she would have, oh my God, she would have the smelt, bacala, octopus, eel that was breaded and fried, shrimp, clams, mussels, sometimes lobster, I think.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic meal that my Aunt Lucille would make. Every Christmas Eve, that was our tradition.
And
alioul, you can get that
Yeah.
now. So it's like linguine with anchovies in it, but you got to cook it just right. And that's what we had. It was like traditional meal that we had on Christmas Eve. And she's actually been out to our house here in Barrington, I think at least a couple times to make it. And I think it was like 3 suitcases worth of $300 worth of seafood that she brought out here. And we usually cook it outside. And one year she had to cook it in the garage. And I don't know, for like a year and a half later, it smelled like fish in there.
We had 2 cars in there with their windows cracked, and from January to February, they smelled of fish.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But I remember going to Uncle Jimmy's house because he made the homemade minestrone soup, and then they had the huge raviolis that we ate there,
And the cream puffs.
and then Aunt Lucy made the cream puffs, and then Uncle Maru Sangiovanni had the straw mushrooms that were
these
really special
mushrooms.
and it was just nowhere in the world could I go to get these things but at my uncle's and aunt's homes. But I wanted to mention that those raviolis, they were like gold bullion. So they cooked them. We're starving. We're salivating. We're like, when do I get a ravioli? We're like, well, you're getting to be a
And they were
big boy.
huge.
I'm just going to give you one. And then if you eat that, maybe I can give you another half if there's one left. And it was like gold bullion. Please, please, please. And you ate it in little bites, and it tastes so good. And it was just fantastic because it was completely homemade. And you got to take them out of there really, really gently so they don't break up. And there were huge raviolis that were fantastic. And then if you were good, you got to sit with Uncle Jimmy and have a little demi-tasse in a little espresso pot that was like 100 years old. I just loved it. Didn't you love it, Mom?
Probably not as much as you, because I had a lot of work to do with helping.
Yeah, well,
The dishes and the cleanup and the stuff.
Well, in those days, I
But
didn't do too much of that.
You loved it.
That was fantastic. So that's it. See you all next week. Please remember to check out our website at www.mikeandfranradio.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you so much.
Oh, and goodbye from Fran. Take good care of yourselves. I didn't know you had it on.
Yeah, it's on.
All right.
Phew.